Marijuana, possession of which is an extremely serious matter here, was nevertheless available to Dr. Windsor via his aforementioned Iranians. Carl had his connections. Paradoxically, there are plenty of head shops in Tokyo, even inside major department stores, dispensing pipes, bongs, even imitation dope. One day, recommending a place, Windsor reassured me, "Don't worry, there's no surveillance cameras." "You looked?" "Man, when I first came here, I always looked, everywhere I went. It's just training from my days working on the street. Mirrors, cameras, alternative exits, back-to-wall positioning, it's automatic. I was in a biker bar once in East LA when 3 guys got shot to death. I saw it coming in the mirror and I got my ass under a table." "That was when I was working in a halfway house," he went on. "I had to fill out reports on whether a patient could hit the streets again or not. That's where I met Reggie. Reggie got busted because when he was high on PCP, he became convinced that his foreman had kidnapped his daughter. Reggie was a very large man. When 3 guys finally tackled him, he had lifted his boss over his head in front of an industrial-grade shredder. Then he broke away, and a few blocks away from the factory, he thought he saw his daughter standing in front of a movie theater, so he took her home. Problem was, it wasn't his daughter, so he got popped for attempted murder and kidnapping. At the county facility, inmates wore either orange or yellow fatigues. Reggie wore yellow. I used to sit with him in art activity room and watch him mold these tortured devil dolls out of clay. That's what the devils looked like who told me about the foreman, Carl," he'd explain. "And listen, man, when I get out, if you ever have any trouble with anyone at all, we'll get my pit bulls on them, okay?" "Sure, Reggie," Carl would say, "but, Dr. Weinberg wants to see you get past this devil thing first. We want to know if you can go out on the street alone and come back. You better come back, okay, Reggie?" As he told the tale, I could feel the blend of authority and genuine kindness Windsor must have brought to his work. Take Charlie Brown, his real name, an advanced schizophrenic convinced that his body was filled with worms. Charlie would inject vitamins into his legs to rid himself of them, but nothing worked. Nothing except 1,600 milligrams of Thorazine, an enormous dosage that required special approval from the psychiatric board. Windsor told how the poor man had gone to a voodoo queen for help with the worms. She told him he could rid himself of them if he tried chewing tobacco. It backfired. "You see," Santa expounded, "serious schizophrenics are very concrete. You have to tell them precisely what to do. If you teach them to boil water in a pan, they can't extrapolate that to a pot. The voodoo queen never told Charlie to spit out the tobacco, so he swallowed it. Then he got sick and threw up. When he saw the tobacco fibers, it confirmed his worst fears. There were worms inside him. After that, only Thorazine cooled him out." Still farther back were Windsor's Vietnam days. His father was a ranking U.S. Army officer, but Carl did what he could to stay out of it. He told of the many ways he and his high school buddies attempted this. Cigarettes dipped in ink that produced spots on your lungs for a few days, a plastic pouch of Caro syrup stashed inside your lower lip, which, when bitten, turned you instantly into a diabetic. Perhaps the most creative effort came from a kid who showed up for his physical with concentric rings of red paint expanding out from his anus. "What's this all about?" asked the doctor. "It's for darts." "What kind of darts are you talking about here?" "Oh, lots of different kinds. White ones, black ones, yellow ones." "What are you, gay or something?" "Well, a little, I guess, but I want to join the army." He didn't. Carl didn't want to, but he got sucked into hell anyway. His father got him working for the Rand Corporation. One thing led to another until he was U.S. Army intelligence, and that was that. They started him in Japan for a while, but when the war escalated, he was sent to Vietnam. Bad things happened there, so bad he never talked about them. Something would pop up now and then. One day he told me he'd had a dream, something that happened to a small Vietnamese girl had come back to haunt him. Once he commented, Sometimes I'd put a bullet in somebody's knee just to show them what real pain was. Carl intimated just enough to suggest that while I'd tooted a saxophone around the Bay Area, he'd gone somewhere and become someone I could never imagine. One story that stuck in my craw, though, was of his microwave exploits. He claimed microwave technology was his specialty in Nam, and once, when he'd been out in the bush for about 4 days with his squad, they got word some people nearby wanted to kill them. Apparently, the VC were real close. I thought there must be something I could do, Carl said, so he pointed his microwave dish in the area the enemy were thought to be. The Charlies began jumping up from their nests, holding their ears, screaming in pain. I'd fried their brains. My men just picked them off. Could this be done? I went on the net, found some Vietnam vet sites, and put the question out there. Here's some responses. Now that I've been able to get up back off the floor and set my chair back in place, I still need some time to stop laughing. I'm sending this out to my 19th engineer buddies, as we shouldn't be selfish with this. Many thanks for making my day a bright one. Thanks for the good. No, make that great laugh. I know all the radio men in the field units carried those dish antennas. They doubled as frying pans. Crapola. The next thing this colonel will be telling you is about the time he caught a 500-pound bomb dropped from an airplane and saved the lives of an entire platoon. Enjoy the joke, as he sounds pretty good at it. I've heard some tall tales, but this one takes the cake. Many things are wrong with this story. Yes, there were HF line-of-sight antennas, but they were truck-mounted. Their frequency was way above the human hearing range. Jumping out of bushes, holding their ears, in a James Bond movie, maybe. But Carl was not the kind of guy I could casually confront about it. I tucked the emails away.